If your life feels like it's crumbling, you're not being punished. You are being initiated. Let me show you why everything falling apart is actually your soul awakening on a deep spiritual level. You are being unplugged from the matrix and you are seeing reality for truly what it is. You're beginning to awaken up on your spiritual path and you're wondering what's kind of going on, which steps do I take, and where do I go? And when we awaken on our path, many times the old paradigms seem to kind of crumble. The life that we have built ourselves, the personality that we have, even the name identity that we attach ourselves with begin to crumble away. These roles that we have created and these identities seem to no longer abide by who we truly want to become. It's like almost as though it was a facade the whole time. And when we realized we were masking who were because we had to, fit into these social roles built up by Western society or by lifetimes or what the world has even cultivated for us to be, we realized that a lot of this is not who we truly are at a deep core soul level. And when we're waking up and we're kind of reaching out there and we're feeling around, we realize many things we just don't identify with anymore. The jobs that we have, the relationships that we've cultivated, maybe even some of the hobbies that we once had no longer fit within who we're trying to become, but we're not trying to become anybody. Because even when you awaken, you can take on new ego identities as a healer, as a shaman, as a yogi, or somebody who does meditation. And although those are great ways to go, we have to remember that both of those need to really kind of crumble and dissolve until we have our ego death, right? Where we go through these dark night of the souls, where we have these times where we are letting go of who we once were. And for me, I've been through, I feel like, multiple ego deaths. I am somebody who for a long time, as being a neurodivergent, right, that's another identity where I didn't feel like I truly belonged in this world. I knew I was different and I just didn't understand it. So many times I wore many masks throughout my life. There was the relationship mask, the family mask, the work mask, the different clubs mask. Like everybody knew different parts of me that truly weren't me. And I was really scared to show who I truly was. Because if I showed who I was at my pure essence, at a soul level, then I was seen. And I didn't want to be seen. I wanted to hide. And when I was awakening, I didn't really want anybody to know. I was really confused. I was conflicted. I didn't understand anything that was going on. My whole world was literally falling apart. I didn't know who this person was that I was staring back in the mirror. And although now I comprehend and understand that that's a great place to be, because we want to dissolve our ego so much that when we stare at the person in the mirror, we don't know who they are. But hey, I'm still going to brush my teeth every day and brush my hair. And when we awaken, we realize that maybe we don't identify with who this past version of ourselves were, right? Like maybe you were somebody who was big into the party scene, right? And now that you're awakening, you're like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. And so there goes the scene with that. There goes the so-called friends that came with that. And there goes everything kind of associated with that world out the window, right? And it can feel really lonely. It can feel confusing. And at the same time, our ego is dying off. These stories that we tell ourselves are dying off, and we're just left there out in the open, and we don't know where to turn. So then we try to latch onto new roles and new identities, right? Where now I'm a spiritual teacher, I'm a yogi, I'm into meditation, I'm into this, I'm into that, right? But at the end of the day, we don't want to conform to anything. We don't want to fit into these molds, and we don't want to continue to mask who we are. You do need an ego, unfortunately, to function in this society and in this reality, but you don't have to latch onto these different forms of identity and personality traits and what have you out there in the world. You can come back to just kind of being and being in the present moment. And when you're just being as the conscious observer, you can kind of see these kind of thought bubbles pop up into your mind, and you can choose whether or not you're going to follow it or not, right? And we need to start to let go of control, because we no longer need to control these things that no longer identify with us, right? We don't need to control having this job. If you're not happy with the job, then you need to leave it. And although that seems super scary, you need to trust and you need to take the faith, right? And that goes with leaving relationships with a significant other, a toxic family member, a toxic friend, and really moving on and exploring different things in your life, right? And right, we're waking up and like these things are happening, and we feel like we can feel lost, we can feel numb, like I said, people are falling out of your life. You feel like, you've lost yourself for a minute. You're just kind of floating there, not knowing what is kind of going on. And that you're like, well, I need something. I need to identify with something. But when we're in that, when we're in the void, that's when the answers truly come to us. That's where we can truly become who we're meant to be, and where we can find purpose if we're looking for purpose, and where we can co-create, and we can create something really beautiful for ourselves. And we no longer have to identify with the collective consciousness out there. And we need to start moving more away from that, because the old way of the world is starting to crumble. It's starting to become no more, right? And now your personal reality is reflecting that as you're beginning to ascend, as you're beginning to raise your vibration and frequency. And you can no longer latch onto that old way of who you were. And you can identify with the stories if you want. You can follow the old patterns if you want. You can relive that within the ego if you want. Or you had the option with awakening to move forward into different stuff, right? And when that happens, we also have to keep in mind that we also need time for rest and rejuvenation, right? Because we're integrating these new codes coming down, right, from when we're escaping the matrix from the old matrix, and we're like, okay, what is kind of going on? I feel lost, numb, I don't understand anything. And it's okay to just chill out for a second and not have it figured out, because there is nothing for you to figure out. You just need to come back to I am presence. Come back into the heart. Take a deep breath, breathe for a minute, okay? and go outside and be in nature. Put your feet on the grass and, or, look up at the sky, watch the sunrise, watch the stars come up at night or the sunset, and just kind of come back in, right? And realizing that even though everything around you is falling away and crumbling and it's a confusing time, knowing that better things are going to come into your life, whether that's hard for you to see right now or not. Know that you are truly loved and you're truly blessed. And although it's hard to see the silver linings in all of this and to be grateful for this journey, because I've been there, I know what it's like, we can come back. And when we take some time to just kind of sit there and just be, we can see why the things are happening that they did. And when we let go and we trust and we just know that the reality and the timelines that are falling away and the new timelines that are showing up are going to be so much better for us. And we can then evolve from that. And now we can realize, okay, that was to happen so I can come back to truly who I am at a deep core soul level. So, my beautiful friends, if this video resonated with you, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.